Hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Okay, so can you hear me okay? Super duper, thank you, thanks Joe. Okay, so alright, today we are taking a look at BLEASS Megalit deep dive to the incredible BLEASS Megalit Synth. I'd like to say hello and welcome to everybody who's here in the chat. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Don't forget to striketh the liketh. Hit the like button if you're here watching already, and if you're not a patron, please subscribe. No, that was wrong. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and consider becoming a Patreon. Okay. Superpowers wavetable synthesizer with a subtractive synth kind of oscillator as well. So it's got incredible amounts of modulation, loads and loads of sound design options. We'll start with sort of some basic stuff. Let's go to the performance tab. The performance tab allows you to control the MPE stuff that it will do, like aftertouch and slide and pressure and note on, keyboard, velocity. You've got an XY pad as well. In general, you have your main output, which you've got a gain control here. Choose whether you want it to be poly or mono, and then you have unison modes, FM modes, and a brilliant arpeggiator. And then we have our 3 oscillators. So actually 4. We have a noise oscillator as well. We have 2 wavetable oscillators and an analog synth oscillator kind of thing, a noise oscillator, an ADSR, and a velocity control. Then we have drives and filters, and then filter envelope. Then we have our effects section, which includes a multiband compressor, a delay, and a reverb. Then we have the first 2 LFOs and the first envelope generator. Each LFO can send to 2 destinations. Okay, and then we have the same again, LFO3 and LFO4, and the second envelope generator. And then we have the motion sequencer, which is also very cool. So we'll get through all of this stuff. So first of all, ignoring performance just for a moment, I'm gonna create a nice little kind of lead sound with this that does some interesting things. So first of all, I'm gonna turn down oscillator 1. And oscillator 1 is the only oscillator you're hearing. But if I'm gonna turn this down, I'm just gonna turn up oscillator 3. Oscillator 3 basically sounds the same as oscillator 1 and 2 when they're in their default position. It's basically a sine wave. You can see it here. We have octave control. And then we've got a morphable waveform. So we'll from sine wave into triangle, into saw, and then it'll blend from saw into square, and then it'll go into pulse width. So I'm going to stick with sine wave for a moment. Then we have our ADSR. Standard ADSR stuff, so that's fine. So we've got a nice little kind of snappy little lead sound type thing. Drive and filters. Now you have the algorithm here at the moment it's sending all the oscillators into the wave shaper. All the oscillators, all 4 of them. So don't forget you've got your 2 wave tables, and then you've also got your thread oscillator, which is the basic subtractive synth one, and then the noise one. And at the moment, all of them are going into the wave shaper, and you can change various algorithms here. So various things on the wave shaper. And different types of algorithm. So now it's super snappy. And then if we turn Crusher on, it's sending all 4 oscillators through the Crusher as well. If we turn HP on, high pass filter, it's then sending all 4 oscillators through the high pass. And then if we turn low pass on, it's sending all 4 oscillators through the low pass. And then we have a resonance control. You also have, this is your keyboard tracking. So if we have this at off, it's going to be very bright at the top end of the keyboard. And as we get lower and lower, it's going to... Thanks, Captain. Bless you. Thank you very much. It's going to close that filter. Okay, that's your keyboard. And then you have your filter. You can send your filter to your envelope. So if we have our attack set like this, you'll hear it will take at the moment 2 seconds to open the filter. And just under a second, 1.3 seconds there to close it, and no sustain. We'll then close it down fully, and then this is the release for the filter. So from our, I'll explain this in a bit when I add more oscillators, but at the moment I've only got the 1 oscillator going through, and we know this is oscillator 3. So I could get exactly the same effect. If I do this, I'll turn this on for oscillator 3. And turn, what have I got on here? Low pass. So for oscillator 3, it's more or less the same, if you know what I mean. So at the moment all oscillators are passing through, but we're only using 1 oscillator. So we move on to our effects. The first effect here is our multiband compressor. If I go down, and it's upwards and downwards compression. So, and we have a gain control for each of the bands. Okay, so that's quite nice. Then we have a delay. We can either have it just an ordinary or ping pong. Let's turn the mix down a little bit. Let's put the time to say 1/8. And then you've got your feedback for the delay. And then you can control high pass and low pass. Okay, sound nice. And then we have a reverb. A low boost for a low cut, sorry, for the reverb as well. And we'll hear this better when we bring in some more mix, length and room size. So we've cut all the lows from the reverb there. Pre-delay. And then we also have a modulation for the reverb as well, which is also very good because I like reverbs that modulate themselves. So reverb amount here, let's turn this up to quite high so we can hear it, and we'll open the color, which will add, with the opposite of the low cut, the color will add top end to the reverb. So let's leave the mod rate where it is and turn the amount up full. See, it's now modulating. If we turn this up fast, you'll so reverb modulates, I like to sound nice. Okay, and then we go into our modulations. But first of all, I'm gonna, because I'm making this initially a lead sound, I'm gonna turn the room size down a little bit and the length of the reverb, and obviously turn the mix back. I'm gonna go back to general here and switch poly off. So now I can only play one note at a time. This is the vibrato, so pitch bend, mod wheel, sorry. Still too much reverb, I think, so I think I'll cut that a little bit, decrease the colour. Really snappy, so I need to get a drink of pop. So that's nice. Go back to general. Make sure I'm not clipping. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch. Now don't forget I'm only using one oscillator as well, so I'm going to switch unison on, and for oscillator 3, I'll switch it on for 1, it won't do anything, so oscillator 3, whoops, getting this really cool effect now. So this is your FM frequency modulating oscillator 3. I'm going to also give it a bit of glide. And instead of me using the mod wheel, I'm gonna make it so that when I apply more pressure, it gives me vibrato. So in the pressure section, destination will be vibrato amount here, and I'll just push hard on the keystep keyboard. Haven't even messed with the modulation yet, and I think that's quite a no modulation used at all in any of that, and still a little bit too much in the mix. Just this one basic subtractive oscillator. Okay, so that'll do. I'm going to save this patch, because save new. I'm just going to call it timeless lead, and it's obviously a lead sound, so I'll put it in the lead category and then go done. I'm going to go to bank A and choose default again, so this will give us the default patch, and this time we'll play with the wavetables. We'll make maybe a kind of a pad sound, but this time we'll put lots of modulation into it and stuff. So here's our one oscillator that's working with a default patch, which we know is oscillator 1. It's just a basic wave. If we open up our menu here, we've got all these wavetables that we can choose, you know. So I'm going to go with let's see what we've got. So there's loads, there's tons and tons of them, tons of wavetables we can use. Absolutely loads, actually. Look at all these. Look. I'm going to use maybe a vocal one. Try the next vocal one. And what the first thing we'll do is we'll get some modulation going on this. So it's a raw sound, but we can modulate this parameter on the oscillator, and we'll do that with, we could use either one of the two envelopes, or we could use an LFO. So we'll use an LFO, but we'll set this LFO to run really slow. So we'll go to modulation 1 and we'll use LFO 1, and we know it's oscillator 1, so we'll choose the destination here, and we'll just go down to, and there are tons of destinations, pretty much the whole synth you can assign a modulation to. So at the moment, so here we go. After FM amount, we've got oscillate. Oops, sorry. Go in here. We have oscillator 1 wavetable position or wavetable fold. I think it's fold. Just let me check. So I'll apply oscillator 1 wavetable fold, and I will give it an amount, and then go back to our oscillators, and you'll see that now that's going. I want it to scan the whole thing, so, and I want it to be very slow. So with the LFOs, you can choose whether you want the rate to be free running, which is in hertz, or synced to the BPM of whatever your host, UV3 synth as well. But I'm going to have this free running, so that's very, that's going bonkers fast. Look, see, we know what now. This is much nicer. Now, if you have this on re-trigger, what's going to happen is it's going to re-trigger that LFO every single time you hit a key. You don't want that with a pad. So you switch re-trigger off, and now every time I hit a key, the LFO will still be doing its job. It's a little bit slow. We also have the time so we can have it like logarithmic or exponential or linear. We can offset that, or we can smooth this out, which will kind of reduce the range. Okay, let's introduce oscillator 2 now. So let's just turn that down a little bit. And let's bring in something else. So maybe what's this? That's really nice. So we'll do the same, but we'll set these the same, right? We'll have these two, we'll have oscillator 2, so oscillator 2, wavetable fold, doing the same thing, but at a slightly different speed here. So we'll slow this down a little bit, but you'll see it's different speed to this, and give it maybe a negative amount, positive. Sorry. I'm on the wrong bloody thing, so I don't need to do anything, it's fine. Look, see, now tons of movement. Now, for the purposes of this, I'm going to draw everything in. So, I'm going to turn this up full. Thanks, Stephen. Thank you very much. Thank you. And I'm going to use all of this stuff for a reason, to show you about how we can route stuff through the filters and the wave shaper and stuff. So we'll bring our noise in as well. And now we need to shape our envelope for a pad kind of vibe. So as a starting point, it's very nice. Now we've got all 4 oscillators doing something, and don't forget we could modulate any of this stuff. So but we could do that in a bit. So let's go to our driving filters. Now this is what I was saying before. Look, if we know we're using all 4 oscillators, the 2 wavetable oscillators, the basic subtractive oscillator number 3, and the noise oscillator. So we go to this here, and you'll see now that there's 4 little dots, and it's passing everything through the wave shaper, crusher, high pass filter, low pass filter. Okay, and then into the filter envelope. You can see now the little boxes around here. You can choose which of these oscillators, which of these 4 oscillators want to be passing through whichever part of the synth. So for example, if we pass them all through, we can control everything via the wave shaper. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to pass 3 and the noise through. I'm not going to use the crusher. I'm not going to use the high pass filter. So they're just being ignored because we're not passing any of those oscillators through those two things. But I will pass everything through the low pass filter. And we'll modulate this. But we'll modulate the filter. Instead of using an LFO, we'll modulate the filter with this filter envelope. Because it's a pad, we can have that filter open up slowly and then decay slowly. We can have it decay and then go basically to nothing. Don't forget, this is a filter envelope, not your ADSR. Let's give it something to do. Let's give it like the full Monty. Everything is getting a bit loud, so we can decrease that a little bit. Now we can really make this come alive with our effects. Now, because this has got lots of motion in it as well already with the filters and the oscillator modulation, put a nice big reverb on with this reverb. We can take the low cut off there. Put the mod amount up high. Have that quite low, but have the room size basically huge, and this is where we'll be able to readjust our gain stage as well. Have the mix a little bit higher, maybe 60%, the color higher, so we'll hear the top end of the reverb, and then the length we can have huge. So now we don't need any delay, we don't really need any maybe. It's actually quite nice. So yeah, so there's a really lush pad sound. Don't overthink it. Once it sounds nice to you, then you can just save new. It's definitely a pad sound, so we'll put it into pads and we'll just call it Evermore because it's kind of proggy, and go okay, done. And okay, so let's do something now with the very cursory set of this. Let's go to a default patch. Let's quickly just set up something with the something super snappy. Let's do it with the ARP. I'll just do this. I'll just sync it. Let's have it each step repeat twice. Okay, let's go to our motion sequencer. Make sure it's running, which it is. Switch it on. And change some of these resolutions, and length is fine, randomness is fine. Just changing the shape. Increasing the range. Okay. Just going to filter a bit of this. So, let me just stop this a sec. The motion sequencer is another modulation source that we can use to modulate anything in the synth, but with how this motion sequence works. And again, you have two destinations that you can use in the motion sequencer, and then the amounts and stuff. So this is very cool if you use it with something like, and you've got your resolution here, see? You leave it on 1 bar, and then you've got loop and reset and all the rest of it. You don't want reset on. But you might want reset on for some things. Destination will be, for instance, go down to our effects. Destination would be reverb mix, and I will put the amount to about 60%. Go to my effects, right? Turn my reverb on, and you'll see here, oops, you'll see here that I think you can see that the actual modulation is working there like this, you see? And this is determined now, of course, by this. So if we set this at 0, it's going to go 60% up. You see what I'm saying? It's relative to the position of the mix control. Now let's set the length, the room size, the color quite high, take the low cut out. We'll leave the modulation amounts and nothing, so it's just reverb. If I play the sequence now, so let's make this beat. Hear that? That's a really cool effect. So let's set this to 8. So cool. Just vibrato amount on one of the LFOs. Brilliant. I'm going to save that and I'm going to call it Hillage after Steve Hillage. It's an arpeggiator, it's a sequence, so I'm going to call it Hillage. And then I'm just going to say run so that people who end up using this patch in the future will know to engage the run. Okay, we've got time for one more quick one. This is really cool. Right, something really interesting we can do now with, we'll use 3 oscillators and we'll get each of those oscillators to do different things while we press one key, using various modulation sources. And this is good fun. This is more like you could do like a special effect type thing. So we will go to our oscillators. I'm going to change this to something like that, and we'll set this to something I don't know. Let's change the octave so we can hear it, what's happening. Okay, and oscillator 3. You can definitely hear that, and we'll. Okay, so we've got our 3 oscillators now playing. Let's put this into mono. Let's engage unison. And a bit of stereo spread. I like a bit of stereo spread on my toast in the mornings. If you got any of that stereo spread, shopkeeper, I'm sure Heinz make it. Heinz stereo spread. Sorry. Right. So I've got this. Filters we won't worry about just for the moment. But we knew we've got our 3 oscillators. Let's go to modulation number 1. Modulation number 1, folks. Now, before we do this, I'm going to turn gain for oscillator 3 and 2 down. So just hearing oscillator 1, go to modulation, and in LFO 1 slot, destination will be, this is cool, let's go for oscillator 1 pitch. And the waveform will be sample and hold, and the amount will be as we dial it in now. And let's change the rate. Okay. Awesome stuff. Let us now go to back to our oscillators, chain the gain down for that, and now we've just got our oscillator 2. What can we get that to do? Something else. Let's see. Let's go to our modulation. Let's go to LFO2. Of course, we're playing with the pitch of these so you can do some cool effects. So oscillator 2 pitch, and the wave maybe, we'll put this on this kind of cool ramp vibe. It's starting to get very Star Trek now, right? So I quite like that. That's good fun. Let's go to our oscillators, turn that gain down. Let's turn up the gain for oscillator number 3, which is a really high pitched one. And go to modulation 2. Destination will be oscillator 3 pitch, and it will be a square wave. And remember, I'm not keeping any of these synced, so these are all going to run independently. So you'll be like in your mad scientist lab vibe here. Let's do this. This would be cool. Just switch the oscillator on and off. It'd be nice. So let's blend all these back in. How cool is that? No, it's a dead basic oscillator, sausage. It's very sausage. Who knows? It's a very basic oscillator. You have a waveform, an octave control, and a gain, but you have tons of modulation destinations. It's very nice. How cool is that? It is, isn't it? It's like something's gone horribly wrong. But we can do this further. At the moment, it's just I'm on and off in my key. We're gonna add some effects. We're gonna have a free running delay. And we're going to use modulation source number 2, which is doing nothing here. So LFO4 is going to be controlling the, what was it now we wanted to control on the effects? The room size. This is going to sound really cool. So the room size now. So we'll go down to our effects here. We'll find reverb room size. Right, and maybe, yeah, this could be not bad at this pace actually, but let's maybe have it as a triangle wave so it's kind of predictable. I wonder if I can modulate LFO3's rate with LFO4's destination. LFO3, let's find LFO3. I think you can. Maybe. oh, here we go. LFO3. No. Oh no. Oh, I can. LFO time shape. LFO3's free rate here. Someone can right, that's the last patch, but I'm gonna call it a band. How do you save new. Someone give me the correct spelling for abandon. Would it be abandon? Would that be right? That's not abandon, Doug. That's abandon. Abandon. Yeah, it is. Abandon. Abandon. No, I'm going to abandon Delta X5. right now. Okay, so we know that that's not. This is so abandoned Delta X5 right now is experimental and it's an effect. So we'll just, you don't have to tag these, by the way. It's just that it makes it loads easier if you're searching for certain thing. So okay, done deal. Abandon Delta X5 right now. And that's some of the superpowers of Megalit, because it has so many LFOs. Again, we only briefly touched on the motion sequence, so you could go absolutely, completely bloody bonkers. It's awesome. It really does have superpowers. It's lovely. Oscillators, you're kind of unlimited. You can't really say, oh, it's got 4 oscillators. But it's these 2 wavetable oscillators are very, 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 very powerful because they have so many. You can't import your own waves, by the way, but there are tons and tons of waves built in already for you. So anyway, there you go. Bless you all. Thank you so much. I will play you out with a few patches that I've designed. I'm designing for a pack for BLEASS. So this will be part of that. So. I really like that. I did another one similar to that some time back. Anyway, but I'll turn the microphone down and play you some of my favorites. It's Great Wall. This is one that I made, I don't know, maybe a couple of days ago or whatever. But this is really nice. It reminded me a little bit of Vangelis, and it reminded me of his China album. I don't know why, actually, but it's a really nice patch, so I just called it The Great Wall. Anyway, I'll just play a few of these, and you can say ta-ra to each other, etc. Hopefully, I will be back tomorrow. I hope it was useful. It's really, really easy. It's an easy synth to get into. All the BLEASS synths and all the BLEASS effects are very, very, very straightforward and not difficult to program at all. Anyway, thank you so much, guys. Bless you all. I will see you later. Play a few of these. This is a nice one.